Okay, we're live. It's James Padu speaking, tradingsites.io. I think AI has killed menus, and I want to explain why and some steps that you might want to consider, at least follow when you're thinking about how am I going to organize everything on my training site. Here's the truth right now. We used to set up menus, and many people still do. It was like a home page, a courses tab, a list of modules, and we guided people from lesson to lesson to lesson, from course to course to course. But right now with AI, the problem is that firstly, people don't want to browse content anymore. They want to know exactly how do I achieve something? How do I get something done? How do I apply something? They just don't want content. They can create their own content. They don't need that. What they want is they want the ability to be taken through a journey that gets them the result that they want based on your particular expertise. And if you don't have that, they're going to come in and get lost or not follow through, and you're not going to have them as a customer, as a student, which way that you're doing. So, I think AI has completely changed the way we have to think about menus. So no longer is it about organizing content. It's now about guided transformation. It's not a menu, it's a path. So if you're building that training or education site, if you're starting and building and growing a business, we have to think about AI first menus. And that's what I want to make sure that we go through right now. So again, if you haven't taken a look at my campus, my personally branded campus, where we're implementing these ideas, make sure to go to tradingsites.io/join there. It's free to join, and you can see how this actually works in real life. So here's what normally happens, right? It's like instead of doing the courses and just showing the courses, and this is something I'll do one now just so you can actually see this. When you go to a traditional site that is about courses, and obviously more than one, I'm not talking about if you only have one course to sell, but I would hope that you have multiple smaller courses and not one big program right now. But if you have a library of courses, the menus are usually about how do I get people to the courses. You may have some drop-down menus, which is about how do I either sort the courses or group the courses in some kind of learning path, but it's really about navigating people to the course content and navigating people to the course content that they should be taking. For example, if they're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So that's how most people kind of look at it at this point. And is that really the best way to do it? If you only have content, yes. But what's happening now is with AI, and if you're starting, building, growing an education business, this approach is changing. And it's the one I've been talking about for a long time. And what is it? Well, I think that we have to be teaching frameworks now, and then also helping people with live teaching and live sessions to apply the frameworks from the content that they can create themselves and or the content that we help them create by applying the framework. So what am I talking about? On the Training Sites campus, for example, I have my 10-step campus map here. Make it a little bit bigger. And these are the 10 steps. It's a framework, a map that everyone who wants to start, build, and grow an education business, they're going to go through these steps. So I'm not about the course in this case. It's about the workflow or the pieces that are going to have to go through that. So that's the first piece. It's a workflow or a framework, not a list of courses anymore. After that, what normally happens is on a regular site, you may have some resources, some downloads or some podcasts. You might have an FAQ section or a discussion forum where people can ask questions. But instead of doing that content menus, what I'm trying to do and what I recommend now is look at stacked paths. And I'm talking about learning paths because we need a teaching topic from the actual framework that we've done. And we're going to have some kind of content that is in that framework step. We have a live class that is appropriate for questioning or working or implementing on that particular step and the content that the step includes, the prompts that we need to do, and the tasks that we need to complete to move on to the next part of the framework. So it's not about the course, it's about the navigation of the process and the framework. And each one of these steps includes all of those pieces: the discussion, the class, the content, the activities, the actions, the implementation of it. So completely changed, and it's all because of AI and the way that people are consuming content now that they can create their own content as quickly as possible. So at this point, we got to try and figure out, what are we going to do with our content? How are we going to put this together? What are the steps that we have to think about in that, if we're creating an AI first menu? So I put together this kind of little checklist for you. And again, I'll make sure that these are all available for you. This is again, all of these times whenever I do these sessions, I always put together a mind map to keep my stuff together. But this is the framework for creating your navigation menus for your education business in the age of AI and too much content. The last thing that I want you to do, or I think you would want to do, is create a content graveyard where you got all this great content, but you can't get menus that get people directed to it. So the first thing you got to do is make sure that you can clarify, what is the purpose of your campus? What is it that you solve? If you can't tell people, or if you can't tell yourself, if people go to my training site, what are they going to be trained on? What is it they're going to be able to do if they follow the training? Again, this isn't just a paid wall membership site. This is a place for education and community. It is a campus. And you want to know, hey, what is a skill that they'll have at the end when they walk away from it, if they ever walk away from it? And think of a university as a campus, right? There's a skill that you want to learn about it, but in our case, we want them to actually apply what it is that they're learning. So that's the first piece, is kind of clarify the purpose of your campus. The second one is you have this campus and a purpose. You're going to want to figure out, like, what kind of community is it? Again, I think that learning campuses or AI powered learning communities, it's not just about the networking and interacting with each other. You have to have the type of interaction with people that leads to education, understanding, application, and implementation. So what kind of community are you using to support that? Is it just a support hub? Is it doing something where you're doing a live training circle where you have cohorts that you get together on a regular basis? Is it something that you have challenges that people have to do, or you challenge them to complete tasks in order to get what it is that they want? Are you the mentor, or the one that's actually guiding them through? Or is it stuff that they learn together? And is it a workshop one where you basically say, hey, here's a blended learning one where it's like, here's the teaching I'm doing, here's the supporting video, and I'm by doing this kind of piece. So you want to make sure that you understand, how have I got my community portion set up? How is the interaction put together? What are the things that are involving the education piece and the interaction piece, and the path between those particular ones? After you got that, and again, some of these can be blended. Those are just 5 examples of ones you might want to consider. Yours might be a little bit different. But once you've got that, the next thing you want to do is make sure that you've kind of figured out, what is the engagement model? And what I mean by that is, how am I going to get people from my community in my course content? How am I going to keep them focused or engaged? The last thing you want to do is sign people up for some kind of community, have them, consume some content, but just disappear and never do anything. So how are you going to make sure that people get engaged and participate? Are you going to do live sessions? Is it about prompt challenges? For example, here's, how to do a particular thing. Show me how you did it. So basically get people to share their work. Are you going to do something where you do group discussions, where you're actually helping people and bringing up topics to discuss? Are you gamifying things, for example? Are you enticing people to do things in order to have them get involved and engaged in the particular content and the tasks that you want? And are you celebrating small wins? Are you being able to set up and say, hey, if you're able to do this, you can proceed to the next particular step? But what's the learning experience? How are you going to keep people engaged? That determines part of your menus now. The other thing is you got to figure out, like, I want to earn some money from this, right? I want to monetize my campus, my community, my membership site. So how am I going to do that? Am I doing paid classes, or am I doing free classes and paid live sessions? Am I doing monthly access to a particular part of the content? Am I doing workshop passes where part of the community is free and people pay for webinars or live lessons? Am I doing tiers where it's one-on-one, one to group, one to many kind of lessons? Am I earning money because I have additional templates, books, downloads, resources that I sell as well? So you got to figure out your monetization method, and then you have to take a look about what are the assets that I have available to me when I'm actually implementing or delivering all of this content. So those are the 5 kind of pieces that you want to go and you want to think through before you start creating menus. And at the end of the day, you're going to be able to come up with something that kind of works in this particular way. How am I going to think at this entire piece here? How can I do it so I don't send people to a content library? How can I guide them or walk them through the process that I have created or the framework that I've started to use? And I want to have a menu that is able to teach, track, and trigger, not list stuff. So this is all about putting together a system that basically allows people to apply the framework. And in my particular case, what we've done here is we have the study hall, which is open on the left, but we've got the live classes, which is about all of the starting, building, and growing. We have the parts, which is the VIPs, the campus builders. We have the learn to use AI. We've got the start your education business. Again, these are all related to the campus map and the steps through it. So people are going to have to go through these live classes to complete the framework in order to have their own education business at the end. Of course, we have some menus to some additional content, but the focus for us is not on here's the courses. The focus is on here are the frameworks. Here is how you apply the frameworks with the live classes that we use to monetize sessions. So when you're looking at your campus next time, when you're looking at your membership site, all I want to do is I want you to ask yourself, why am I doing the menu like this? Is it to organize the content, or is it to map out a journey and a learning experience for the people that you're trying to help? I hope you enjoyed this video. I put them together every day because I just love helping people start, build, and grow their education business. So if you haven't already, go to trainingsites.io/join, and also make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you again later when I create another video on the AI Learning Community channel. Take care. Expect the best.